Chandra Vikram is the co-founder of the first ever TV reality show for social entrepreneurs and impact investors in Sri Lanka, telecasting on the largest national TV network. He is also the founder and chairman of Lanka Impact Investment Network, which is the first of its kind agency on impact investing with the purpose of investing in existing and emerging social enterprises, promoting social entrepreneurship across our country. And an accomplished and respected senior commercial banker with lead expertise and experience in retail and development banking. And also Mr. Chandra has a proven track record of over 30 years and is recognized in Asia as an expert in financial inclusion. Also, he has served as CEO of CCC Solutions, the project management arm of Ceylon Chamber of Commerce from 2014 to 2015 as a consultant strategy and marketing for National Savings Bank 2016 to 2017 and Regional Development Bank in 2020. He has participated in numerous international engagements as an expert in the area of financial inclusion and is the current chairman at the bank with the Poor Network, Asia's largest microfinance network. He was also appointed by the Asian Bankers Association as the advisor on financial inclusion to EU. Further, he is the chairman of CSR Sri Lanka, the national ethics body to corporate social responsibility, representing the largest number of private sector companies. So here we cordially invite Mr. Chandra Vikram to the stage. Over to you, sir.
Very good morning to ladies and gentlemen, well-respected clergy, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the Dean of Faculty, the management staff of the university, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great privilege for me to come before here all the way to WELLASSA University to speak at this important occasion. The role of the business leaders in the future. Just imagine that we are in the 2035 and you will not go to any hospitals anymore. You will go to a medical nanolaboratory and at the medical nanolaboratory you will be injected like a normal injection. And there will be trillions of medical nanorods get into your body. And they will, in the matter of 3 minutes, clear your heart, your lungs, if you have any sickness, whatever it is, within 3 minutes, while you are reading the book, and restore your heart back to the original, your lungs, and you will in 3 minutes time go out a perfect man as young as ever. And as you know, ladies and gentlemen, when we grow old, that our bones get spaced out, and when we fall, they are fractures. So these medical nanorobots can inject into your bone spaces fiber optics, and then you climb up to 10th floor and jump, and you walk as nothing has happened. This is not a dream, this is a reality. The Israeli scientists already presented this to the President of Israel almost 6 months ago. And they hope to have these medical nanorobots and medical nanolaboratories in operation across the whole world in the year, another 15 years' time. That means all the surgeons will be redundant. All the surgeries in hospitals has to be closed. The medical innovation is going to be totally a different term. Now we are in the middle of the pandemic trying to wonder what to do as we take these various vaccines and boosters and things like that. Of the world's Nobel Prize winners, 40 Nobel Prize winners are from Israel, Jewish people. And there is medical innovation taking place in Israel than no other country. I had the privilege of visiting Israel on a World Bank program And Tel Aviv today is the most advanced technology hub of the whole world. Ladies and gentlemen, that we are living in a time, the business models of the world will be changing. The models of business that we are having will be made redundant. Some of the professions of engineering, medical, management, you name it, would be dynamically changed in another 10-15 years' time. And I remember I graduated from the University of Calgary in the year 1981. For some reason, I haven't done many postgraduate degrees, but I have moved into professional areas. I was invited by the Harvard Business School and the State School of Government in the year 2009 to be the keynote speaker at the Harvard Asia Forum by the Harvard Business School and the State School of Government. And I was presenting something to the audience, creating an impact to more people in more places, more often, and creating that affordability, accessibility, availability to enhance, enrich, and empower people. And I think dynamics of that is now taking place as the businesses are now need to change the way they used to operate. The planet factor, the people factor is very important. Without the planet and the people, there is no way that you can unprecedentedly earn profits. The profit that you earn from the planet and the people are not plowed back to the progress of the planet and the people. There is no sustainability for the planet and the people. So, business organization talking about the triple bottom line called 3 Ps: planet, people, and the profit. But the new dynamics of the business model is not 3 Ps but 4 Ps. The 4th P is progress. The profit earned from the planet and the people are not plowed back to the progress of the planet and the people. There is no sustainability. So that is where we need to really look at the way the business models have to be evolved. Unfortunately, for some reason, still in this country, the businessmen are more like making hay while sunshine. They don't understand the way to collaborate, partner. I give my experience relating to my engagement in 4 countries. The 4 established countries like Japan and Germany, and the 2 new countries like Israel and Rwanda. Rwanda is the newest country in African continent, emerging as one of the fast-growing countries in the whole world. But many years ago, like Sri Lanka, they had the major ethnic war between Hutu and Tutsi. 2 million of them died. This Paul Kagame has transformed that nation, bringing dynamism into business. Ladies and gentlemen, today in Rwanda you cannot identify yourself as a Hutu or Tutsi or Sinhalese or Tamil. You have to identify yourself as a Rwandan. If you identify yourself by your ethnic background, 5 years in imprisonment. And they have brought the dynamism on the public, private, and the institutional mechanism to drive new initiatives so that the business engagement can empower, enhance, enrich people, more people in more places more often. And that dynamism he has brought in, being a newest country, and which was gone through a major setback of ethnic fights of 2 million people dying in a short period of time. But he brought the public mechanism to partner with the institutional mechanism and the private sector business leaders to see the big picture and see the eye to eye. And thereby bring that dynamism. Now in a country like Israel, It was made a nation in 1948, same year like Sri Lanka. They never had a nation. They were, though it's an old country of 3,500 years, they never had a nation for 2,000 years. They were spread across all over the world, the Jews. And 1948, all the Jews came from all over. African Jews, Indian Jews, Russian Jews, French Jews, German Jews, Spanish Jews, all came from different ethnic backgrounds, different religions to Israel. And they spread all their backgrounds and began to see the picture. And today, the Israel is the most dynamic nation in the whole world, the powerhouse. In every frontier, in technology, in medicine, in military, in economy. Why? They see the big picture, they see the eye to eye. And one of the most important things I saw in Israel was the way the business community has partnered with the institutional community and then the public mechanism supporting the whole thing, the fabric. They believe that, the fabric is like this table. This bottle is on the table. The fabric has to be strong. If the fabric is not strong, you cannot have this bottle, it's completely on this table. Same way, in a nation, in a planet, the country, the people and the planet has to be strong. Any business will be survive and thrive. If the country's environment, country's people are weak, you cannot really blossom into a sustainable business engagement. There is no way. I have been a banker at Happy National Bank for nearly 25 years as a senior DGM. You know the bankers make huge profits beyond the economic growth of the country. There is no way that one single company or a business outgrow the economy. It's not sustainable. You have to grow with the economic growth. That's why the private sector of this country need to recognize the factor that they need to look at the new way of business models emerge. And I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you who are joining today this MBA program would be the leaders of the future and would be part of the new dynamics that will evolve in the whole world. And it is that context that you need to think differently how that in your initiatives the people and the planet be enriched. How the planet can be enriched or the environment can be enriched. How the people can be enriched. You cannot marginalize the planet or the society and the environment and stand out as a business. So the business leaders of this country unfortunately doesn't see that big picture. They don't see eye to eye. And it is so important that what I have seen in this country, we have the institutional mechanism, the public institutions. They go on their own journey. Then we have the middle layers like chambers and other business associations. They go on their own journey. Then we have the private sector. They go on their own journey. That will not be sustainable for this country's economic development. The countries I mentioned, they put the people on front. Germany, divided as a nation, East and West. The recently retired Angela Merkel was an East German personality. And so collaboration between the East leaders and the West leaders, shedding all the differences, focusing on the country. So is in Japan. There is no unprecedented wealth creation for a certain group of people. In these countries, they have learned the art of wealth creation or the science of wealth creation. But also in the same way, they have learned the art of wealth distribution. And if you know the science of wealth creation, and if you don't know the art of wealth distribution, sustainability of your business would be very short term. And it is in that context, any Sri Lankan business, there is no harm, like the Warren Buffett said, no harm in wealth creation. We all have the opportunity of that. Businesses, that's what they do. But ladies and gentlemen, as a result of the technology advances that will take place in the world, if you do not adopt that technology, there would be redundancies in every frontier. Every frontier, I can tell you. AI, artificial intelligence, the robotic movements, not only medical robots, many other robots that would come, would dynamically change the way the services are provided to more people in more places. The human resource requirement would be very minimal. And when those redundancies take place, what would need to be done for the people who are being redundant? Imagine, the many surgeons get redundant, and today families get their children to become a doctor, engineer, and there's no harm in that. But what happens is, unless you dynamically change the way those professions are geared, there will be redundancies. And that is why these countries like Finland, many other countries coming up with BI, basic income, universal basic income. And that is supported by the private sector, that unprecedented that profit that is they are generating need to be plowed back to support the society and the environment. I had the privilege of many times visiting Japan and worked for a half a day in the Toyota factory as an exposure. There continuously you find Kaizen is continuous improvement. And the 60% of the Toyota factories' innovations and the creativity come from the local workers. And that's why we have to have the dynamics in businesses where the continuous improvements. And then AI, BI and CI, then I say DI. Divine intelligence is not human intelligence. Human intelligence is what you look for, what is there for me, what is there for my growth, my family, my kith and kin. But DI is looking for what is there for him, what is there for the other, what is there for them. So that if the economy is sustainable, if the people are enriched, if the people are empowered, then there is an opportunity for businesses to have more engagements, more empowerment. And that's the reason, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you that we are talking about the social entrepreneurs, impact investors, coming in a leaps and bounds across the whole world to look at the society and the environment. And they believe very strongly on this quadruple bottom line. And the quadruple bottom line is 4 P's. Planet, people, the profit earned from the planet and the people need to go back to the progress of the planet and the people, then only the success. So therefore, all the new businesses, all emerging businesses and the current businesses, the business models have to be changed dynamically to empower this sector. And thereby, there would be an opportunity so that businesses can not only survive, thrive, by enriching people. I was talking to a group of businessmen recently, trying to get them involved in this impact investing. And they have billions in their businesses, and they deal in billions. I told them, you gentlemen deal in millions and billions, sometimes in trillions. But the creator deals with you in 10s, 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s, and when you go to 70s and 80s, you cannot reconcile your billions and trillions to those tens. So it is absolutely essential while you are carrying out your business, how do you empower the society? How do you enhance their growth? How do they then enrich their engagement? And therefore, your business models have to be changed on that context. And that is exactly what I have seen in Rwanda. Dr. Paul Kagame may be a benevolent dictator, but yet what I see him coming is bringing the business dynamic models in partnership with the next layer, the institutional mechanism, and then bringing the dynamics of the private sector businesses to walk the talk, to ensure that the more people in more places, more often, are economically enriched. I was invited by the German government in the year 2014 to understand the German dual education system. One of the best systems in the whole world. Now, in Germany, when the children go to the secondary level, they can decide based on their appetite and the skill which they should move into. If they would want to move into a scientific level and become academic a professor or a doctor or that engineer that way, or if they want to become a mechanic, mason, carpenter, banker, nurse, they decide on that. And they are moved into the technical schools, which is owned by the public sector and the private sector. Same curriculum, monitored by the government sector institutional mechanism and all the commercial chambers. So any student that goes into these technical schools to become a mason, to carpenter, baker, banker, nurse, they would spend nearly 1/3 of the time in the school understanding the academic level of education, 2/3 in the various private sector organizations understanding the apprenticeship. We met a person who worked in Audi automobile, and he was working as an apprentice on 2/3 of his career of 3 years. Once the 3 years is completed, he is getting a qualification for craftsman. With that qualification, he can either move and start his own business or join something, other organization, or he can do one more year and get the master craftsman. And then he can start his own business. With the master craftsman title, he can go to the university and go up to do the PhD. We met a particular head of department. He had joined as a baker and he has a PhD. And in Germany, there is no way that anybody can lose jobs, nobody can gain anything unproductive or empowered. And it is precision, engagement all the time. There is like a synchronized, very well-oiled mechanism take place. So the educational institutions, the chamber network, the private sector, hand in glove, so well synchronized. Whether it's Mercedes, whether it's Hilton, whether it's any business there, or the entire federal chambers and the regional chambers, the education institutions and the universities and the technical institutions in hand in glove. Nobody passed out from the universities and technical schools wander here and there without jobs. They are all empowered, highly skilled. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now it is very important that we need to understand that the business leaders of the future, maybe some of you are here, you all have to think like that. You have to think more in the context of the people and the planet. And then you come up with the business solutions that would really impact people. And that is exactly what I saw in these 4 countries, in Japan, in Germany, in Rwanda, in Israel. Now, how Israelis have converted the deserts in Israel to flourishing orchards, producing the best of the oranges. We went to a 10,000 cattle dairy. And you know, it's in a desert. The heat is about 45 degrees, but inside 15 degrees. Each cow produces 60 liters, better than Denmark or any other place, a day. That kind of productivity have been brought. And you don't see that unprecedented wealth creation only for a small group of people. No marginalization of communities and people. So the business models are very sustainable in these 4 countries. Ladies and gentlemen, most respected leaders here today, I want to tell you, Sri Lanka far behind our thinking. I'm sorry to say that we are still in the island mentality. We need to understand there's a different world out there. While some countries advance, changing the dynamics, we still looking at our old theories and concepts and ideas. And if we go on like this, I can tell you that we will never progress as a country. And if the business leaders of this country, very selfishly thinking, I can make billions and billions and put them in the bank accounts for my family and this and that, I can tell you, it's a matter of time. This country, we have experienced number of setbacks. I've gone through, as a young boy, 2 youth uprisings in 1971-89. And then our ethnic war, all these problems, marginalization, divisions. And that's why I was thinking 1948 we got freedom, Israel also got freedom. And Israel, so many different people, more ethnic groups came from, Ethiopian Jews came to Israel. The Russian Jews came to Israel. And they shed their differences and become united as one. But whereas 1948 we got freedom, but we are more divided, ethnically, religiously, various ways, and we are not progressing. And the businessmen of this country are looking very tunnel view of their organization. Unless you are willing to collaborate and partner, and that is where, ladies and gentlemen, if the businessmen in this country move forward, public sector, institutional mechanism, and the private sector has to work in hand in glove to enrich more people in more places more often. That is where the future of this country. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.